Hey, this is Ricky Kennedy Cichlids. Today's video we're looking at signs your Frontosa Aquarium is crashing. I've had one that's recently been, to that point. Now I'll tell you what I looked for and saw and the steps I took. Now people have busy lifestyles and sometimes you're going non-stop. It's just a busy time in the world. And you may not be able to take certain steps that you normally would take when your Frontosa Aquarium is crashing. So check out this aquarium, check out the steps, listen to it, all of it. It may be not what you be using, but it's what I use and was successful in correcting this crashing Frontosa Aquarium. And make sure you give a thumbs up just for some ideas, just to see the Frontosas, just to see maybe in the future a bigger Frontosa Aquarium like I used to have back here. That's all I want is a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my Frontosa Aquariums, more of my fish, more of my videos, give me that thumbs up. It's very important. It helps out my channel big time. So make sure the big thumb, mine's kind of small, but give me a big thumbs up. Thank you very much. You can watch this video and check it out. Okay, I want to start off by saying this aquarium is very unexciting. I don't have a very good escape to it, but I have a lot of killer Frontosas in here. If you breed fish, sometimes you overstock. It's a little bit overstocked, but they're doing good. But they were not doing good. So, what's some signs that your Frontosa Aquarium is crashing? Alright, now I don't know if you know this, but right after you feed your cichlids, they breathe a little bit more as far as through their mouth. It happens, just to make sure you take time and notice that. Right after you feed your cichlids, for an hour or so, they do a little bit more breathing through the mouth. So, notice right now that they're moving their mouths a little bit right now. Now, if you have not been feeding your fish, like within the last hour or two, and you see all your fish doing that pretty heavy, that's a sign that your tank may be crashing. Now, what could that mean? It could mean that you're overfeeding. To me, sometimes I pour food out of a bag. I misjudge how much goes in there. I'm in a hurry. I got 18 aquariums. So I don't go back and check to see how much food they ate. There may have been some uneaten food in there. That can cause your tank to get in bad shape. So I noticed a few weeks ago my fish were breathing hard all the time. If you look here, right here, all in the water, it's bright, it's clear, the water's looking good. Well, at that time also the water was tinted, so you have to look at your tint of your water. It was also more yellow. Looked like it had some, kind of a little of a brown tint to the spectrum of the light going through there. So that was another sign my tank was crashing. Also, it seemed like a couple of my fish were getting ill. I normally have no ill fish at all, ever. This time I had a couple of fish in here, which I don't introduce new fish for several years. There were a couple that were ill. Some of it might have been from damage from hitting the top of the aquarium, because sometimes I come down here in the middle of the night and there's no lights on and they jump up and hit the top of the aquarium. That could cause more stress and so forth, and it makes them ill. But still, all the fish were reacting in a negative manner. Another big way you can tell if your tank is about to crash, your fish are not coming up to the top of the aquarium when you're about to feed. If they don't come to the top of the aquarium, you need to not feed your fish. So what did I do? One, my fish seemed stressed out. They were breathing hard. So I left the light off. I also stopped feeding for a whole week. Your fish can go without food for a couple of weeks, maybe even longer. It would not hurt them. So I went a week without feeding them. You think, why did I not do a water change? Well, I have a busy lifestyle. Not that I have a great lifestyle, I have a lot of things going on. This can happen to anybody. Also, there's times when I've not been feeling good. I've been worn out from work and from allergies, sinuses, different things. So I'm not really wanting to do, everything. Plus, I'm taking care of other aquariums. So in this instance, I did not do a water change. Now, some people say, hey, what about the heater? Well, I didn't have a heater in here. I was convinced that I could go without a heater in my aquariums, and be room temperature, because on a regular thermometer for your aquariums, it's in the green. It says it's good for tropical fish if it's 72 degrees. People say you should have your Frontosas at a cooler aquarium because they're deeper in the Lake Tanganyika. Well, that's not the case. So what did I do to solve all these problems? One, I stopped feeding for a week, and then after that week came up, I just put a little bit of food in there. Two, I put the heater in there, got it up to 82 degrees. And three, and let me take a moment here to show you number three. Let me stop it here. Alright, number three, you see I have a mountain filter here. This is the method I've been using to clean up my water, make a difference without doing water changes, because actually in this aquarium I've not done a water change in 6 months. But I noticed that my tank was crashing, so what did I do? I added an algae scrubber to my mountain filter. If you see on the left, let me see if you can see my finger right there where it's blurring out. Right there next to the coffee cup. I added a spotlight LED. I use a red spectrum bulb. It's actually a red bulb. Got the algae growing. Within a few weeks, that water cleaned up. You see how it's cleared now? The fish started acting great. They came up to the top of the water and was eating the food. They were doing great. So what did I do here? Let's go over the steps again. They were stressed. When fish are stressed, they release more ammonia into the water. So I turned off the aquarium lights. Number two, I added a heater, got it up to 82 degrees. Number three, I stopped feeding for a week. Let the nitrogen cycle catch up. So I stopped feeding for a week, fed them once, went another week without feeding them. Want to make sure the water got cleaned up. No ill effects to the fish doing that. And number four, got the algae scrubber going, grew the algae, used a red LED spectrum bulb. It's doing great. It's on the back of the mountain filter. You see some of my other videos on how to do that. Got the aquarium water looking great. The coloration of the fish, that's another sign that your tank is crashing if your Frontosas are really dark. Here they're not dark, their whites are coming out, they're looking great. Before I got it straightened out, they were all dark and drab. Now the whites are coming out, so if your Frontosas are dark and they normally are not, your tank is not in good shape. Something's wrong. Either you're stressing by other fish in the aquarium that's not Frontosas, or there's something wrong with your water column. So get that straightened out. So these are the steps I took. Normally people say do a water change. Well, a lot of times the water change can stress your fish. You don't have time. You've got work. You got to pick up the kids. You got to go to school. You got to go here. You got to do this. You got to do that. And then day after day, you're tired. You're sick. You may be sick with the flu for a week or two. Maybe a water change is not an option. At least it's not one to you. This is what I did. So let's go over once more. Signs your Frontosa are crashing. They're breathing heavily. They're not coming up to the top of the water for their food. They're looking drab in coloration. They're not swimming around much. They may be developing ick or other types of diseases. What did I do? I told you the steps. I did not add medication. I did not do a water change. All I did was what? I quit feeding for a week. Fed once, just a small amount. Went another week, and then fed them. So I basically went 2 weeks with one feeding. I added a heater, got it up to 82 degrees. Added an algae scrubber, and boom, the water is looking great. It's crystal clear. The fish are showing their whites. They're not drab. They're doing good. They're coming up to the water column to eat. Doing great. So that's just my take on it. You may disagree with my method, but it's worked in this case when my Frontosa aquarium was crashing. If you'd like to see other videos by Ricky Kinley Cichlids, especially my Frontosa aquariums, then make sure you give a thumbs up. Those thumbs up are very important. And I appreciate you watching all the way to the end, and thank you for subscribing to Ricky Kinley Cichlids so you can get those notifications that I have a new video.